Hello and welcome to part 1 of my Victorian Townhouse build. It's a Sims 4. This build is on the 30 by 20 lot called Manzanita Terrace in San Sequoia. Now I got inspiration from this by just looking around in the world and seeing what the other buildings look like, and I thought I would build some townhomes. I thought this would be the perfect location for it. Just because of the background of the lot, I think these will fit in perfectly here. If you watch Little Simsy, she's also created similar builds on this lot, and I didn't watch that video specifically and say, oh, I want to build the same thing over here, but you know, it was a great idea. It's really a good place for these type of buildings, and I went in and I wanted to make sure that all of these are different from each other in terms of the outward appearance. All of them are just slightly different. The one on the right is 6 tiles wide and the rest of them are 5 tiles wide, and of course the facade of the building is just slightly different. I really like how this turned out. It is quite a large build, obviously, because there are eventually there's going to be 4 houses in one, so it's going to need a part 2, or else this video will be like 2 hours long. But I'm going in and placing a little bit of landscaping on the outside of the buildings now. I wanted to give it a little bit of greenery. I ended up changing the first building several times. I wasn't really super happy with how it turned out, but I like the finishing touches on it. I liked the seasons windows on it. I felt like it really pulled it together with that wood tone. I found a lot of matching wood tones with that. I think the second one is also one of my favorites. I ended up switching out these windows here in the round part. I think I used the ones that were part of the vampire kit. Yeah, that's what it is. And I know it clips a little bit with the trim, but I still found that it looks so good in this location. So please try to ignore the little bit of clipping on the trim. I know I'm trying to ignore that because I can't bring myself to use any of the other windows on that one. But once again, I really love the seasons windows just because there's so many of them. There's so many options. A lot of the other packs only have a few different window selections, so you can't really make a whole fleshed out build with just a few windows from the pack, so that's really frustrating. But that pack is probably one of my favorites for the windows. You'll see I used a lot of the Strangerville on this too, just because Strangerville and vampires, and that's just because it has a lot of the sort of fancy Victorian elements that I'm looking for. I changed this to medium wall height as well, and I put some friezes on there. It's a little bit buggy with the friezes, but that's typical. But I felt like it really tied it together and made it look very in style, I guess. I ended up changing the door in the first one final time and going in and putting a little bit of greenery there on the last one. I don't usually use those, but I thought that it looked pretty good over here on this one. So that's probably going to be the first and the only time that I use those. I really liked how the hanging baskets looked in the front of the second one as well. It's really one of my favorite townhouses in this build. Going in and putting the roof trim in. I know I missed a little bit on the top of that rounded section. Don't worry, I will go back and fix that later. I know it's kind of annoying to look at for now. At this point, I decided to go in and add the fourth one. I didn't like all that space being left over at the end of that, so I ended up putting another townhouse here, and I think this one is probably my favorite just because of the color palette that I chose. I based it off of this door, so this pink and yellow door, and I actually ended up using the rent pack for the windows on this one, or some of the windows at least, and I think it turned out so cute. The windows are very ornate, and I felt like it really worked with the style of this. And of course, they came in this bright pink, which really matched the door, and that's what I was looking for specifically. And you'll see later on, I went in on the side and I put some windows on the side of this as well, and it just turned out so cute. I really liked that. It was a little bit difficult trying to find good foundations that matched all of these. I ended up choosing some basic ones for most of the townhouses, but it still turned out pretty good. Now I'm going into the interior a little bit and removing some of those extra walls. I tend to build with the boxes and then I build out from there. I'm going to start out with the interior of the first townhouse. Now, I knew I wanted to have a basement just because it doesn't have a whole lot of space. It's quite long and skinny, so that just gives me enough space to be able to add, say, more than one bedroom into this unit. And it was doing some funky things with the basement. I couldn't get it to look the way that I wanted it to. As you can see, the terrain on the outside, it raised up a little bit, so I ended up covering that with some landscaping, and I think that it looked okay. But it was kind of annoying that I couldn't get the stairs to clip correctly in the basement. The terrain kept moving up and stuff. I managed to fit 2 bedrooms and a bathroom on the upstairs. I'm going in and putting some placeholder items, so don't worry, this won't actually stay the way that it currently is. I just wanted to make sure that I had the items laid out the way that I wanted them to be. I wanted to get a full shower tub combo on here, but I ended up opting for just a shower. I'll put a tub in the downstairs bathroom. Now I'm going to the downstairs. This layout was a little bit difficult for me to figure out. I knew I wanted the kitchen to be towards the back, so once again I'm putting some placeholder cabinets back here. These aren't actually going to stay, but it was actually quite difficult to do the layout on here. The stairs, I think, was probably the biggest problem, that and this little window nook. I really wanted to have some sort of seating over there, and I just really messed with the placement of the chairs at where I wanted to put the TV and everything, but I ended up finding a solution for that, and I think that it turned out to be pretty good. So I wanted to put this double arch over here. I think that looked okay, and then I ended up putting the TV on the wall against the stairs instead, and I used that kind of as an accent wall. I think that it looked pretty decent, and there was still enough walking space to get through. And once again, I also had that space in the corner by the window that I could still use to put additional seating, and I think that was probably the best case scenario for what I was trying to do. There's the chair that I put over there. I ended up keeping that, actually. This stuff, once again, is mostly placeholder, but I ended up keeping the chair and the bookshelf over there because I thought that it looked good over there as kind of a little reading nook. I ended up putting a small kitchen table and with a kitchen, and I believe at this point I realized that I wanted to have a deck in the back, so I'll delete a little bit of that further on. I wanted to make this smaller bedroom into a child's bedroom, so I ended up keeping most of this stuff, actually, but I ended up changing the color scheme. It's such a fun bedroom. I really enjoyed doing this one, but I just wanted to make sure that I got all the essentials into the bedroom, and of course had the doors put on. Sometimes I will build things and I will forget to attach a door to some of the rooms, and then I'll be playtesting and I'm like, why can't my sim go to that location? And it's of course because I didn't put a door in there. But here in the basement I have an extra bedroom and a bathroom that is large enough to fit a tub. I ended up putting this desk here in this little nook. I removed that later on because I wanted this to be compatible with the for rent pack, so I put some of the necessary rent stuff down there instead of the desk. But if you want the desk, you can go back in, of course, and put the desk back in that space. It was a little bit difficult to select a decent flooring here. I found one that I liked, but it was like the basketball plank flooring, and it was super shiny underneath this light, so I ended up going with this one. I think it looks okay with it. It's not the wood tone that I necessarily liked the best, but it wasn't super shiny looking down on the floor, so it works. This couch here, I don't remember what pack this is from. I think it's from maybe the Book Nook kit or something, but it looks super cozy here with a blanket. I decided to use that here in the living room, and of course I had that accent wall by the TV. This isn't gonna be a super old build. I mean, the exterior is old, but I wanted the interior to look modern, like it was recently redone, and I think I achieved that look pretty well. I used a lot of the Dream Home Decorator kit as well for some of these items, like such as the tables. I chose this rug because I wanted to get some more accent colors. I noticed this room was looking a little bit plain and gray, I guess. So this brings in a little bit of the blue, red, and I see a little bit of orange in there as well. So that brings in some other colors. It makes it a little bit more lively. I ended up using a chair also from the same pack as the couch, and going in and putting a little plant over here. It was a little bit difficult as well for me to select artwork and decorations for the walls that I thought fit well in here, but in the end I ended up settling on, I believe, this gallery wall piece, and then of course on top of the couch I wanted to do this old architecture thing. I'm trying to pretend that maybe that was the building plans for this building and they have that displayed on the wall for some reason. I wanted to change the color of the chair and the bookshelf, and I wanted to put a few plants over here as well. I ended up putting a little stack of books by the chair as well to make it look like someone was sitting there reading their books on the seat. I like to tell stories with my Sims build, so for all of like the living rooms and the bedrooms and stuff, they're not going to be super generic looking. Typically, I like to build them for individual Sims and like pick hobbies for them and things that they would like. I think that makes it a little bit more interesting, that not everything is super cookie cutter. I left a little bit of space there because I wanted to put a coat rack in it, but for whatever reason I ended up forgetting to put it in, so on a later episode I'll go back and I'll fix that if I remember to do that. I think the board games looked super cute on that table as well, and here I'm going in and finally working on the kitchen. I ended up using the Dream Home Decorator cabinets in the kitchen as well to tie in a little bit of that look with the living room. It's kind of frustrating how most of the fridges don't fit with the cabinets. There's like a big gap in between for some reason, and I had to scoot them over an alt place a little bit for that. And right here is when I realized, oh, I need to have space for a door so that they can get outside to the deck area. So I decided to remove that part, the very last cabinet there, and work on the deck for a little bit. I kind of jump back and forth a lot between different parts of the build. If you haven't noticed that, I get bored very quickly and I get uninspired, I guess, very quickly. So it makes more sense for me to just jump back and forth. I know that doesn't necessarily make for the best video content, but it makes for the best me content, so I don't get burned out and quit altogether. So that's just something that I'm trying to work on it a little bit, but that's just how I play the game. It was kind of difficult to put in the right cabinets here too. I used like the middle cabinet on the ends, and it was super hard to slot it right. It was so frustrating. It took longer than you'd think. I edited out a lot of that, but I wanted it to go there and I could fit these windows in perfectly underneath. Once again, the Seasons windows coming through, I think they look so good on this building, and I love that color of the wood. It was a little bit difficult for me to select the tile in here as well. I ended up going with the Dream Home Decorator tile as well. I put a sink there in the middle. I actually don't know if this kitchen is functional, which I feel terrible saying that, but I don't think I have an unobstructed full countertop that isn't a half counter, so I don't know if they'll actually cook on it, but I'll play test that and I'll get it to work somehow. Now I'm going in for the master bedroom and I'm replacing some of those placeholder items. I wanted to go for a more interesting color scheme with this, so I chose this yellow and orange bed, which isn't something I would normally choose in one of my builds, but like I said, I like to go through and kind of create a story for each sim and make things a little bit different, change it up on each and every build. And in the end, I was kind of scared that this would turn out to look really ugly. I think it looked pretty good in the end. I think the wallpaper, the dark blue wallpaper, really tied it together. And then I'm putting the carpet in the bedrooms, and I think that just makes it look a little bit more realistic and a little bit more cozy. Hi, kitty. I guess my cat is joining me now, and I'm putting it on a TV up here on the dresser. I know it's not realistic. The Sims won't actually go and use that TV and lay in the bed, but I like to put it there anyways. Now for the kids' bedroom, I went with this like purple and yellow bed. So there's actually a lot of purple kids items, which I really like. It doesn't totally match, but it matches enough, and I think it looks super cute, especially with these little flower rugs. It's so adorable. And I went in and put a couple of decorations down on the wall and stuff. This room is already bright as is, so I went with some basic blinds, and I realized that I forgot curtains in the master bedroom as well. I think the orange curtains really tie it together well. This is just going to be a basic bathroom. I'm not very good with the bathrooms, designing them. I knew I wanted to have the same tile that was in the shower, but it looked kind of weird with with the whole bathroom being that tile, so I did only the part that is adjacent to the shower. The rest of it, I just did this gray color. This bathroom is going to be pretty boring and gray, but it's a bathroom. It doesn't have to be anything special, right? So that is what it is. Sometimes I'll make funky looking bathrooms, but most of the time they're going to be pretty basic looking. When I put that gray mirror in here, of course, I felt like that matched the best, and I put that $50 roll of toilet paper by the toilet. Ooh, I don't know why that costs 50 freaking simoleons for that little toilet paper, but it's The Sims. I keep trying to tell myself it's The Sims. It's Sims is going to be what The Sims is going to be. Now I'm going back downstairs to the basement. I'm going to do that bathroom. I'm kind of basing it off the Sim that will be living down here, so I wanted to do a lot of like dark colors. It's going to be mostly black and white, as you'll see, and the bedroom is going to look kind of similar to this as well. I like this bathroom a little bit better than the other one. I feel like it has a little bit more personality, and it's a little bit more interesting with like those copper accents in the shower and on the sink as well. I ended up using that Dream Home Decorator tile in here as well, and I think it turned out looking decent, and it's pretty modern. This bedroom I also liked as well. It is a little bit boring at first, but I ended up adding some artwork and stuff for a pop of color. This is meant to be a teenager's bedroom, and there's a lot of space in this bedroom, so I knew that I wanted to add a hobby for them, and I ended up doing this music creator station or whatever that's called in here. So I'm just envisioning this teenage sim that wants to create music in their bedroom and stuff. I ended up using this wallpaper, which is a little bit unusual for me, but I think it tied it together pretty well. Put one little plant in here. I don't really know why they would have a plant in their room. That doesn't seem likely, but I put it there just for a splash of color, and I think the artwork is kind of what sells it. That kind of makes it look like it's a teenager's bedroom. I wanted to put a lot of fun colors and some music related stuff. I had like that DJ poster there on the other wall, and there's this fun little colorful poster on this wall over here. I needed a light, so I wanted this little red light, and I wanted to carry on the floor from upstairs and to put that down here as well. Needed a rug. It was kind of hard to find one that fit. I ended up doing double of those geometric style rugs, and in the hallway I ended up just putting a little hallway table in here. I think I put some picture frames in here so you can put pictures of your own Sims on the wall there. Let me know if I should make specific Sims to live in this build. I haven't done any videos about Create a Sim yet, but I will be starting my Legacy challenge soon, so I will be creating a Sim for that and making a video for that. So let me know if you want to see Sims created for any specific build or anything like that. I'm really open to any Sims suggestions or even other game suggestions that you have, so please let me know what you think in the comments. Now I'm finally starting on the outside here. I wanted to have space for trash cans. I ended up just putting a full dumpster in here along the side. I think that worked better, and your Sims can get more out of the dumpster as well. And I put some of the mailboxes in front of it. It's kind of hard choosing the concrete here. I did my last video with a park. It was hard there as well. I wish they made more matching concrete for the world around it, if you know what I'm saying. It's really frustrating, unless I just can't find it and it's in there somewhere. But I looked for what you probably think is a ridiculously long time for it, and I just couldn't find anything that matched the color exactly. So it is what it is. I think these still looked okay. I'm going in and putting the final landscaping touches in the front of the build, and I wanted each and every house to look a little bit different in regards to the landscaping. Some of them have like a lot of bushes and stuff, but this one just has a few flowers down there and a little piece of grass. But overall, I am happy with it. Of course, on this one, I wanted to have the yellow flowers to match with the yellow door and the siding and stuff. It's so cute. Once again, this is my favorite of all the townhouses, and I think that's the front of the build complete for now. Going in the back, I wanted to have a path that went all the way along here, and I wanted all the buildings, all the townhouses, to have access to the outside from the back. So I'm gonna go in a little bit and put in some more decks. I wanted to cover up that weird like terrain thing. It's mostly covered up by those hedges now, so I think that looks okay. And of course I like to make it blend in with the world around it a little bit, so I was looking around at some of the plants adjacent to this lot, and I put in some of these lavender plants to kind of match that a little bit. I really want it to blend in. I don't like putting things in the world that then they just stick out because all the landscaping landscaping is different it's like from a different world. I mean, I'll use some stuff, but I feel like it looks way more cohesive when you seamlessly blend it in with the world around it. I really like this fence combo with this second house. I think it looks really classy and really ornate. Of course, I'm using the vampire windows once again. And this third building has a little bit of a larger deck area. I'm probably going to go in and put some more outdoor stuff, maybe a grill or something on this one. And that turned out really well. It's kind of annoying to put the foundations and stuff on the decks back here. I was struggling with that. I kept like deleting them and putting them back to the first choice that I had, and it was really annoying, but I got it sorted out eventually. And I realized I needed to select a fence for that one as well. Super cute. I went with the iron fence with the fourth one as well. I wanted an awning on the first one. I thought that would make it look a little bit more interesting. It was a little bit difficult for me to find one, but I settled on this green one that kind of matches the siding, and I found that to be super cute. I went with the painted deck on this one, and here it goes again, deleting my stairs. I'm just trying to put in the spandrels on here. I wanted it to kind of match the front a little bit, and this was so annoying. You have no idea. It's probably just me because it's been so long since I've played The Sims 4, so I'm still trying to get used to the controls and which items to place first and stuff. I still find myself fiddling with it way longer than I would like to, so I had to cut a lot of that out of the video as well, just me messing with trying to place items and it doesn't want to place the way that I want it to place and all that stuff. But that's okay. With time, I know that I'll get better at it and I'll kind of start memorizing stuff. And here I'm using the rent pack windows again. I use those like stained glass windows in the back and then these in the front. And I really thought that this detail looked so good here on the side. It really tied the build together. It's so cute. And there I deleted that desk and I put in that rent stuff. I am building this not as a residential rental right now just because it's really laggy for whatever reason when I do that. So at the end, I'll go back in and I'll switch it over to do that. I'm working on the second townhouse, and this one was a little bit tricky as well. I would say it's for whatever reason, it's slightly more tricky than the first one. Upstairs, I ended up getting a bedroom, bathroom, and what it's probably going to be an office because it's a little bit too small. And it looks like we're approaching the end of the video now. This is going to have to be a part 2 because it's just, like I said, it's going to take forever to furnish all 4 of these townhouses. But I'm really excited about the progress that I have so far. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on part 2.